In today's video, we're going to talk about the importance of having reserves to avoid a catastrophe in a condo or homeowners association. After the tragedy at Surfside, many within our industry are asking the question, what can associations do to be prepared for any financial challenges they may have, or to be prepared financially to resolve any issues their buildings may have? So in today's video, I wanted to talk about the importance of reserves. And I get it, while some board members may agree or disagree with having reserves, I'm of the opinion that associations really should have reserves. And let me explain why I believe it's important. Buildings, similar to humans, we age and we need more maintenance as the older we get. So associations that don't have reserves find it very difficult to be able to maintain what they need to do for their particular building. Further, most board members that don't have reserves or have very minimal reserves kind of set a blind eye to what really needs to be done and kind of, keep doing what they believe is right. However, if they're not properly maintaining the building, all they're doing is allowing that expense to increase at a proportionally higher rate and kicking the can down the road for someone else to deal with it. Our experience over the years has shown that when that does occur, the day will come and the expense will be much more, and you're gonna have to deal with that situation anyway. So by having reserves, you're gonna be able to do what's necessary for the building when the building needs it, and also potentially you'll be able to reduce the actual expense to do any repairs that are necessary if you're doing them earlier on. So next, I'd like to talk about some of the resistance we get whenever we propose to our boards or residents to put away for the reserves. The most common resistance is, well, I may not be around whenever the repairs are going to be done, or I may be selling my unit before the repairs are done, so why am I going to put any money away for reserves? The way I like to look at it is, number one, this is most of the time the biggest investments for most individuals. So it's much easier to market a unit knowing that the building has the necessary funds to be able to do whatever repairs it needs. Further, your unit is going to be much more marketable because your building is going to be in much better repair if the association has the necessary funds. And for those that say, I'm not going to be around, most likely you're either going to pass that unit on to a family member, or you're probably going to sell it. If you're going to sell it, as I stated earlier, it's going to be much more marketable. If you're going to pass it on, last thing you want to do is pass that on to a family member where they're going to need to deal with an extravagant repair and have to pay for that when it could have been paid over time. Another point of resistance that we get is, this is way too much money for us to put away. Well, the way I like to say it is, it's either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay tomorrow with interest. It's much easier to pay these fees slowly, annually, as they may increase 2 to 3% a year, than having to do a special assessment and have to pay it one time, or have to pay it in a much shorter time frame because the repairs are needed for that particular building. So how do you know how much money your association needs to put away in reserves? So we have the ability of either contacting an engineer or contacting what's called a reserve specialist to put together a report for your particular property. The cost for these reports are very small compared to the value that you're going to get from this particular report. The report should outline the life expectancy of pretty much anything of value over $10,000 within your building. It's going to tell you what the cost is going to be, how much you should be putting away each year, and for what particular items you should be putting away. Lastly, it'll give your board and the residents an idea of when you should be replacing these items or planning to replace for these items. So if you don't have a reserve study, I strongly urge board members, residents to encourage your board members to get a reserve study for your community, so at least you can understand what position your current association stands. If you have more questions with regarding reserves, or you want to understand how much you should put in reserves, please reach out to us and I will be glad to connect you with one of our industry experts. If you like this video, please make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, you can visit us at ManagedbyAffinity.com. I'll see you at our next video.